this video on yoga exercises to help manage SPD pain and help to stabilize the pelvis during pregnancy. If you are brand new here, welcome. My name is Bettina Ray. I'm a yoga teacher. I specialize in yoga for fertility, pregnancy, birth, and early motherhood. I have created another video on what SPD is, the sort of movements that can make it worse, and what to do if you're having a flare-up. So if you haven't watched that video, I'll link that one below. I recommend checking that one out first, and then we can get into this particular class where we work through some specific exercises to help manage SPD pain. I don't recommend doing these practices if you're having a flare-up. So if your pain is really bad, please go and see a physio or an osteo or a chiro, someone who can specifically work with you and what's going on in your body. If you have already been checked and are looking for some specific exercises that you can do to help realign the pelvis, to help strengthen and support the pelvis throughout the rest of your pregnancy, then this is the video for you. If you have never practiced pregnancy yoga before, I'll link my free pregnancy yoga guide below so you can go and check that one out and find how to practice safely through all 3 trimesters. You'll notice in this video that I'm wearing a support belt. So this particular belt is a smiley belt, and all it's going to do is to help really focus on bringing the pelvis back together. If you're having any flare-ups of SPD pain, this is a really great one for helping to support the body while you're doing other movements. So you're going to feel a little bit restricted, which is exactly what you want. Your internal structures are not currently able to hold the pelvis together, and that's what's causing the pain. This support belt comes in and can help support your body until you're able to build that strength back. All right, let's get into the exercises. All right, so we're gonna start here in our hero pose. So you'll notice I'm sitting up on a bolster. I really want you to sit up on something. So it could be a block or a stack of books or some rolled up cushions or towels underneath you here, just so that you can sit between the feet comfortably, but also that you can gently squeeze the knees in onto the bolster. So you're helping to turn on those inner thighs, start strengthening those muscles up because they're gonna help to support the pelvis and to lessen that SPD pain that you're feeling. Obviously, if any of the poses that I practice here in today's class feel really uncomfortable for you or just don't feel right in your body, please feel free to skip them entirely. You don't want to do anything that will make your SPD pain worse. So we're just going to gently press the knees in towards each other. As you inhale, take the hands up towards the chin. As you exhale, keep the shoulder blades together behind you. So nice straight spine, reach the hands away. Inhale the arms up to the sky, and then exhale, bring the hands down behind. Interlace the fingers, just gently draw them down. So we're mostly keeping this lower body quite still and stable, just gently drawing the knees in. Inhale, bring the hands up. Exhale, press them away. Inhale to the sky, and then exhale, bring them down beside you. Inhale up. Exhale, press away. Inhale to the sky. And then exhale down beside you. All right, just gently lift up and off the bolster now so you can push it away. We won't need it for the moment. We're coming to our tabletop, so really bringing those knees underneath the hips, the hands under the shoulders. And we're going to work with a really gentle movement here. So you don't want to do your cat-cow with lots of rounding and tucking of that tailbone. It's going to make SPD pain a lot worse. So let the belt, if you're currently wearing a belt, be a reminder for you that we're just being really gentle on this area. Don't feel like, okay, I've got the belt, I can do lots. Use that as a reminder that we're being really protective of this area. So just really gentle movements and more of an internal awareness here. So just a really gentle lengthening and then a really gentle tucking. So it's just a tiny movement with the hips, with the butt, just gently exploring how it feels to lengthen out through the back. And just perhaps noticing those internal muscles of the core and the pelvic floor as you take these little tucks. Let's work with the breath. So as you inhale, tiny little tuck as if you're moving the booty up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, tiny movement through the tailbone. Let's use our Ujjayi breath so we can hear the breath on the exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, engage pelvic floor, gently tuck the tailbone. One more of these, inhale. And and exhale. And then gently tuck the toes under, walk the hands back. We're going to slowly come to stand. So keep the feet underneath the hips, keep a nice bend through the knees, and just really slowly roll yourself all the way up to stand. Draw the shoulders back and down. All right, let's come and use the wall. We're going to do a down dog against the wall. And so doing it against the wall puts less pressure on the heart, but also just allows us to move into this pose really quite gently. So I want you to bring the hands to about hip height and then slowly walk the feet out just until they come underneath the hips. So you want to press the hands firmly into the wall, keep the feet no wider than the hips, and then gently soften down. So you may need to keep quite the bend through the knees. I want you to draw the knees in towards each other. If you were struggling to keep this focus, you could put a block or a book between the knees just to keep pressing. Even a cushion will work, just to keep that awareness of drawing the inner thighs in and supporting that pelvis. So again, make sure you keep the bend through the knees nice and soft. You're not putting any strain on that low back, and if it's not feeling good, of course, rest. Keep breathing here, inhale. As you exhale, gently engage through the pelvic floor, pressing into the heels. Inhale. Exhale, engage pelvic floor, press into the heels. And then slowly start to bend the knees. Walk the body all the way back up. Just draw the shoulders back and down. All right, let's just come to stand. So feet underneath the hips. And let's just get a bit of an awareness of our own body here. So just notice how you stand naturally. So try not to think about it too much and just stand in the body. And notice where the hips go. So you might find that your butt kind of sticks out. You might notice that you're tucking. You kind of want to do neither of these things and find a happy medium. So just do a really gentle tuck and then rock the pelvis back the other way. Just being aware of pressing into the feet so they're not any wider than hips. Pressing into the legs, lifting up the pelvic floor, gently engaging that lower core, feeling the spine lift, and finding a position here with the pelvis where it feels good. So this is why I say not to practice in a big flare up, because it's probably not going to feel good at all, but there should be a part where you can stand reasonably comfortably here. It might mean that you need to put a little bit of a bend in the knee to find more of a range of movement through that pelvis and find a comfortable position for you. All right, we're going to come to the wall now. So bring the back onto the wall and just walk the feet away so that we can come down as if we were sitting on a chair. So you don't want to have any socks on, otherwise you'll slip right out. Press the back into the wall. Again, keep the knees in line. You could always put that block in between them or a cushion so that you're pressing the knees in on something and working the inner thighs. Draw the shoulders back and down, maybe press the head into the wall. Just breathe. I do this pose a lot in my pregnancy yoga classes as birth prep. So we use the breath as the legs start to engage to focus on uncomfortable sensations and deal with uncomfortable sensations that we'll obviously have during labor and birth. It's also a great one for strengthening the muscles and the ligaments around the pelvis. So remember to keep the knees in. Don't let them splay out at all. Nothing wider than the hips. Focus on that ujjayi breath in and out through the nose. All right, and then when you're ready, bring the hands behind you into the wall. Just straighten the legs up. I always like to do a little bit of a stretch here. So keep a little bend through the knees so that you can just fold from the hips forward. Get a bit of a hamstring stretch here. They've worked quite hard in that chair pose. And then gently bring the hands behind you to come up and off the wall. We're going to come all the way down onto the floor now. Remember to use the arms to support the body. So you don't want to put any extra pressure on that core. I see some women coming down like this, and we really don't want that action. So the way you want to come down when you're pregnant, And of course, because we're dealing with SPD pain, keeping the knees together is use the arms to support you to come down. Keep the knees together as you roll, and then bring the hips underneath the knees. So we're going to work with our bridge pose. So the feet are at hip distance, and you should be able to touch those heels with the fingertips. So I just want you to take a breath here and just relax the body into the floor to start. So again, noticing where the body naturally rests, where those hips kind of find their natural position. And then I want you to start using the breath. So as you inhale, really gentle rock as you tilt the pelvis towards you. And then exhale gently, let it relax back down. Inhale as you tilt the pelvis towards you. So again, keep those knees in line. If you can't remember, a cushion or a block in between them will help. So just really gentle with the breath. Inhale. And as you exhale, I want you to engage that pelvic floor. So lift those muscles in and up. Inhale, rock the pelvis towards you. Exhale, engage the pelvic floor in and up. Inhale and exhale. All right, we're going to start to engage and lift the body a little bit higher now, so bringing those hips a little bit further up towards the ceiling. If it's too much, just stay with this pelvic rocking, keeping the knees drawing in. You could even not come all the way up and just come halfway up. So just work with where your body is feeling good. So as you inhale, starting to press into the feet, rolling the hips up. Not going into a full yoga bridge. We're just really keeping it quite gentle, and then exhale, rolling the spine back down. And I want you to focus on engaging the glutes and really pressing through the heels. So keep the knees in towards each other, pressing into the heels, engage the glutes, and then slowly roll back down. Inhale, coming back up. And exhale, rolling down. I want you to also think about engaging that pelvic floor. So pelvic floor is one of the best things you can do for stabilizing the pelvis. We often don't think about the pelvic floor in this way. We just think about it more to do with incontinence, but it really is the core and the pelvic floor which do a key role in keeping pelvic stability. Inhale, coming up. Feel free to work with your own breath rhythm. Just being aware of really engaging through those glutes, pressing into the heels, just listening to your body, being mindful of what feels good and what doesn't for you. All right, gently bring the hips back down, draw the knees in as much as comfortable for you. Obviously, I don't have the big belly. If you've got a really big belly, you'll just be keeping it nice and gentle here. And then when you're ready to take the hips over to the right, roll onto the side. So this is how you will roll over in bed as well. And then use the arms to support you to come all the way back up. So with the legs out in front of us, we're just going to stretch through the hamstrings. So you'll notice that my legs are together. Usually in a pregnancy yoga class, I would take them a little bit wider just so you've got space for the belly as you lean forward. But because we're working with SPD today, you want to keep them in line. If your hamstrings are really tight, coming up onto a bolster here is going to help. It's just going to allow your hips to come a little bit higher and create that gentle rock forward without having to strain into the low back or round into the low back in any way. So as you inhale, just take the arms up towards the ceiling, draw the toes back towards you, engage these thigh muscles so they're pressing in towards the floor. And then gently exhale, just lean the body forward. If it feels good, you can bring the hands down. So you notice I'm not really putting any pressure on the belly or rounding through the back. I'm sitting quite tall, and there's just a little tilt of the upper body over from the hips towards the legs. The main focus here is really pressing those legs down. So you should feel a nice hamstring stretch without any strain or pressure into the back. And then inhale, gently sitting up, bringing the feet in towards you, shifting the weight up onto the sit bones and just leaning the weight forward. So not putting any pressure on the belly. So obviously if you've got quite a big belly and you're in the later stages of pregnancy, just lean back a little bit and just lift through the heart. And then exhale, gently releasing there. All right, so there are just a few exercises that you can do when you're experiencing SPD pain during pregnancy. I highly recommend getting yourself a support belt if you're struggling with this. They are so handy to have. You can put them on when it flares up, or if you're doing any activity that you think might cause a flare up, and really prevent yourself from having to deal with pain that is too intense or even pain at all. So I personally found that's all I needed to do. I wore the belt when I was doing things around the house or any activities with the kids that I thought would make the pain worse. Or if I was doing a yoga class that I felt like, yeah, it's getting a little bit niggly, I'll put the belt on for extra support, and then I didn't need to wear it for the rest of my pregnancy. I know that for some women, they wear this all the time, and that really just helps to bring everything in because their SPD is significantly worse than mine, and they just need that extra support. So highly recommend getting yourself a support belt if you need. I'll leave the link below. Otherwise, thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope that you enjoyed this class. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button so that you can practice with me again.